Thank you for downloading the Inspirational Women of Portsmouth podcast. My name is Ronnie Edwards and I run Pomodzi Creatives, which hosts the Inspirational Women of Portsmouth Awards. These awards mark International Women's Day through a nomination process where anyone can be nominated for being inspirational, regardless of their context. The project also raises money for the Rape Counselling Service Parks. This series gives us a chance to get to know some of the women who were nominated for the awards. I hope you enjoy them. It's true. You, Diane, got nominated for your community volunteering role. And you volunteer for Family Church? Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I'm just going to read some of the text that was put forward for you that the panel of trailblazers had a look at alongside some other supporting evidence. And it was just so wonderful. So as part of your nomination, somebody said, Diane does the following volunteer work in the community via Family Church. She's a nurse by profession, but is very passionate about helping everyone in her community. She does the following, and there's a list of so many things that you do that we were just like tired reading it. You volunteer in the food bank, providing emergency food hampers. You volunteer in a drop-in centre, which provides friendship and food to anyone wishing to access a service for the local community, which is just wonderful. And I think that happens at the Empower Centre, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You have a homeless outreach, providing warm meals and drinks and clothing. And you also have like a baby basics scheme where you provide hampers to mothers in need of emergency support. So I can imagine you've probably got a lot on your plate at the moment.
Oh, it's huge. It's been really an interesting time because even since the nomination, some of those things have escalated beyond anything, which is great. We've had to drop a few things, and obviously it's interesting you said about it's tiring. I always sometimes have to hold back to tell people what I do because I do so much, but obviously I don't do it on my own. The food bank, for instance, has got a fantastic team that does the day-to-day running, and I just sort of strategically oversee that. And when we first had lockdown, obviously there was a lot of scurrying around, getting food, trying to get enough resources. So that's the sort of role that I take on, is I'll say, right, what do you want me to do to help you do your job better? Yeah. But that's, that food banks come into their own in times like this, especially. The baby bank, I suppose that's my biggest baby, for want of a choice of words. And it was something that came across my way by chance, really. My nursing career for the last sort of 20 years has been based looking after premature infants and babies. So I worked there for 20 years. Everything about babies, I just loved. Sick babies and getting them well, it was great. My husband said, hey, this is a project I think you would love. And at first I was like, oh no, I've done enough babies. I don't want to do that outside of work as well. It's not my thing. As my kids are older. But it came across my way. I started doing it, got involved in about 2016. Very, very slow to start because we wanted to just get it right. And it's just expanded, and it has become a passion of mine. So although at first I was a bit like, I'm not sure. I just love it. It's amazing. It's an amazing thing. Yeah, it's my house is full of baby clothes.
So do you actively collect baby clothes, unwanted baby clothes then, or?
Yeah, so the way it works is it's a brilliant project. It's like a franchise, really, because it was started up in Sheffield, and then they saw the potential, which I loved it because it was a mum with a vision, and that I love. A woman with a passion to say, right, I'm going to get this going, and she did, and now it's across all cities. Yeah. So a lot of it is it's also really eco-friendly, because I think it's the best way to recycle, isn't it? So we have pre-loved items.
Yeah.
And it's great because people say, I've got all this baby stuff.
Yeah.
And they'll hand it over. And we are very picky. We only give the best of the best because I really feel, and in fact, we mix it with new items if we get funding. Because they're coming from a lot of, we deal with a lot of refugee families, single parents, lots of mums that are just in low income. And there's that real judgment about, why are you still having children? You can't afford it. That sort of thing. You think, actually, Baby Basics just says, come as you are and we will just love you and spoil you, which is what I love.
And you also run a course called Shine.
Yes.
Is that like a self-worth, confidence kind of project?
Yeah, it's, again, a Shine is, it was developed by Hillsong Church, which is a massive, a church that started in Australia, and they do Shine Women.
Right.
And it's based on, it's sort of low-level self-esteem. It's based around CBT. But again, all the things that we do in the community, I like to think it all joins together. So we have looking after a family, often women that have got children and things. You can lose yourself. So that self-esteem works really hand in hand. So it's based on 3 different modules: strength, purpose, and worth.
Okay.
And it's over 3 weeks, and we do workshops, and it's, again, very interactive. It's completely free. We just spoil the ladies that come in. We bless them with gifts and just leave them with some tools that they take away. So we're not going to change their life. They're not going to come in one way and go out shining, but they will go out knowing how to get shining, if that makes sense.
Oh, well,
yeah.
And there's a trickle-down effect to that, isn't there? Like,
of course,
when you're nurtured, then you nurture others.
There's actually lots of evidence to show that women that build their self-esteem can, be better mothers, better friends, just feel part of community more. Oh,
that's wonderful. I'd love to know a little bit more about you.
And me,
because I'm nosy like that. So how would you describe yourself? Like, if I said to you, Diane, give me 3 words to describe yourself, how would you do it?
I think compassion, definitely. I'm compassionate, passionate about everything I do. Visionary and hardworking, which, And I think that a lot of those things came. So hardworking, I think, certainly my upbringing, my parents were very hardworking. It wasn't always easy for them, but my dad instilled on me, if you don't want something, if you want something, you have to work hard for it. And that was a thing that just was in me all my life. Yeah. So every job I've had has been a hardworking job. I love getting stuck in.
Yeah.
To the detriment of myself sometimes. I have to hold back. I give all of myself. To all things.
That sounds familiar. So, and how have you learned to be kind to yourself within that? Because self-kindness, I know you've spoken about actually looking after other women, but how do you look after yourself, especially when you're visionary and such a hard worker?
And I think that's what I've had to deal with, because I think with a visionary, so I will always see the bigger picture. I will always strive for more. In some ways, lockdown's been really good for me. I've had to learn to be solitary and to sit and reflect and think things through. So that kindness thing, and it's very much, I think at the root of all of my self-kindness at the moment is my faith. That's my big go-to through all things. So if you are in solitude, then I know that I can pray and I can reflect and give things to God. But also as well, there's those practical things like I got so busy. We have that routine, get up, shower, bang, bang, bang. I've just taken having a bath. And I think over the years I've said, I don't want to have a bath, it's wastes water. But I think that weekly soak in the bath is a good investment. So I really,
with a few candles, candles and bath bombs,
Well, I have candles there. I never light the blessed things because I'm not very organised. But I love trying out bath bombs, and it's the whole workspace pack, conditioner. So that is really nice. And I play music, and again, it's about stopping, making myself stop.
And you are an inspirational woman. that's like, there's no discussion around this. That's what it is. And you've got a tribe around you that's just told you and recognise you.
Yeah.
Can you think of anyone who's been really influential in your life, or inspirational in your life that's helped you develop and grow?
I had a manager that was somebody who I didn't always get on with. We would clash a little bit. We're totally different. I'm very touchy-feely, I'm very feelings-based and emotive. She's very capable. But that combination between the two over the years was amazing. She absolutely encouraged me to see my worth and to aim to be all that I can be. And it was so refreshing for somebody to be on my side and say, I want to see you achieve. And so when I started in my, the nursing role, started in a very junior role, and I was quite happy. The fact that I'd become a trained nurse was enough for me. Yeah. But she made me look more and think, just keep going. And I just got promotion after promotion after promotion. I think she always made me strive to do more. And that was amazing, because I didn't even think I'd get through nursing. And people are really amazed when I say, when I was in nursing school, I was always in the office having a chat with somebody, because they were concerned about how quiet and how anxious I was. And that's because I wanted it so badly, but didn't think I'd ever achieve it. So to just get that, and to have a manager that just invested in me, and she didn't have to. Yeah. So that's lovely. That was great.
So I was just wondering, as part of my podcast series with Inspirational Women, I love to hear stories of overcoming obstacles, because I think that needs to be put out in the atmosphere as well. Is there anything that you feel like you could share with us in terms of a story of overcoming something and how you overcame it, and how you overcame it, really?
I think one of the biggest things that I've overcome, and people are sometimes very shocked when I tell them, when I had my second child, I had really severe postnatal depression. It was psychosis. So it's the rarest form. It's puerperal psychosis. I was in hospital for 5 months and had 13 episodes of ECT, was in a mother-baby unit, all of those things. Even to the point where my nursing, they'd written me off. I think everybody thought she will never recover from this. So I was ill for many years, loads and loads of drugs, suicidal, all of those things. And when people hear that from me, I can't imagine that you would be like that. And that recovery was huge. And having my baby, that was one of the biggest things, that I'd lost loads of memories from her. I was worried about the bonding. She's 18 now, so it was when she was born. Okay. But at the same time, I'd had my little toddler had a peanut and nearly died. My mum died. A month later, my dad died. So that, even remember, if I'm honest, but it could have broken many families. We recovered. We're still married, still got a really good, strong unit. And I'm almost privileged that I had that opportunity to understand a part of a mental ill health episode. Because it's very easy for people to see their view of it, and that you're just a mum not coping.
Dismiss it.
And the stigma and everything. Whereas I embraced it. I think it was part of who I was. And I've learned a lot over, even now, very easily people will label you. And if I perhaps get a day where I'm a bit, I don't know, tearful or something, people go, oh, well, you need to be careful. Very patronising, very like, let's put you back in that box. But I know I've been totally healed. And obviously my faith and everything, I believe totally in healing. And I just think I'm not that person. And I think to recover and to get that stigma and that label taken off you is a massive achievement, because people can't wait to put you back there. And I really, I feel that if there's anyone listening to this, that is suffering with mental health, sometimes it's a part of us, or it's a part of our past, and it doesn't define you.
Yeah.
But so many people want to define you by it.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting journey, for sure.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that. That's a really powerful story. You could do a whole podcast series on that, Dan.
I could. I'd love to.
It's the kind of thing that people need to hear. Like, people hear that overcoming story of actually, this is where I was, but this is where I am now. And here are my warts.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Because it's not always a shiny after version, is it? But it's an after version. And that's all we that's
totally.
All we need.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I might follow up with you on another podcast on another time.
I'm happy to do that.
Diane, thank you so much for your time. Just very aware that I'm having to shut down timescale-wise.
Yes, of course.
But I feel so much richer just having listened to your story. So really appreciate it.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you for that.
Cheers.